McLaren are rather fast right now in the Formula One World Championship. That is a masterpiece of understatement. They absolutely wiped the floor with the field at the Miami Grand Prix 2 weeks ago, and it's looking as though they are absolute champions-elect, at least in the Constructors' Championship. In the Drivers' Championship, things are less clear, but how have they got this big advantage when it comes to the pace of their cars? How are they doing it? Well, the leading theory behind it is the fact that apparently they can cool their tyres or keep their tyres at a much cooler temperature while running a lot quicker than the competition. That is why in qualifying, for the most part, they're not absolutely the dominant force. Lest we forget that McLaren has the same amount of pole positions this year as Red Bull. Max Verstappen has had 3 pole positions so far this season in 2025, which is the exact amount that McLaren have with both Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. So over one lap, that car is quick. It is arguably the quickest, but it is not absolutely clear of the rest of the field like you may actually think, going off of how fast they are over a race distance. And that is the key really when it comes to their pace, the fact that their long runs are so fast compared to the rest of the field. Like I said, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, they won the Miami Grand Prix by about 30 seconds. Look how quick they were in Australia before the safety car came out and bunched the field back up. Once those guys got ahead of Max Verstappen about halfway through the race, they opened up like a 15-second gap in about 10 seconds. They are absolutely electric over a long stint. Now, obviously, let's just talk about the tyres very quickly. So when it comes to the tyres with Pirelli, they are designed to degrade. They are designed to go off in terms of their performance. If you push too hard too soon, you've ruined your tyres. They go off the cliff, so to speak, when it comes to the performance of them overall. And that is what the other 9 teams are finding. But McLaren somehow can keep their tyres in what is called the operating window for a much longer period of time. Now, Red Bull claim to have found what is actually going on here. They claim to have used thermal imaging cameras at Miami or some other races recently anyway. And unlike the other teams, their brakes, the McLaren brakes, when they change the tyres and the brakes are exposed, are significantly cooler. Red Bull claim, we yet to see any proof of this, but Red Bull claim there are cold spots on the brakes. Now, when I say cold spots, I am not talking about freezing cold. I'm just talking about the coldness of the brakes compared to what they normally would be. Formula One brakes are hundreds of degrees hot. They are absolutely boiling. If you were to touch them, you would burn your hand instantly. It'd be like touching a hot stove. They are designed to work at extremely high temperatures because of the incredible forces that they put through the cars to try and slow them down. But relatively speaking, compared to the other teams, Red Bull claim that McLaren's brakes are significantly cooler. Now, we don't know how they are doing this. Now, Red Bull, again, they claim to have a reason for this. They said there was so-called tyre water. There was water within the tyres that was actually keeping these brakes very cool compared to the competition. And now, if McLaren were doing this, that would be illegal. You are not allowed to put anything in your tyres other than air. That is the only thing you can put in them. You cannot inflate them using any kind of other fluid, whether that be a liquid or a gas. That is prevented in the regulations. Now, it should also be noted that Oscar Piastri's McLaren was scrutineered after the Miami Grand Prix, and the stewards found no wrongdoing. And McLaren sound pretty confident about there not being any tyre water in there anyway, lest we forget about Zach Brown actually sitting on the pit wall in Miami with a bottle of water that said tyre water on it. So clearly they are taking a bit of a laugh about it. Red Bull thought they found it, but that protest has been thrown out by the stewards. They found no wrongdoing when it comes to this. But the key here is that McLaren have found a way to cool their tyres, to keep them very cool by doing something with the brakes anyway. Now, how have they done this? Well, it's a secret. We don't actually know at this moment, but the leading theory is that is being explained by people like Ruth Boscombe on the F1 TV coverage right now, is saying that McLaren is using something called a solid state to actually cool the tyres. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's basically like when you put ice cubes into your drink on a hot day to keep it cool. You put something cold into the liquid to make it colder, to actually maintain that lower temperature so it's nicer for you to drink. McLaren are doing something similar to that, but with the tyres. There is something that they are doing with the brakes that is actually allowing them to cool the tyres. Again, we don't know what exactly, we don't know what they've done. It's a heavily guarded secret, and it's not something that is going to be revealed anytime soon. The teams, if they could find out, would undoubtedly copy this. Now, if they are doing this, McLaren, is that legal? Are they allowed to actually cool the tyres by using some sort of solid state cooling method. Well, if they found a way to actually do it, it technically is legal under the regulations. So if a team were to protest this, it would actually get through if that is what they have indeed done. Now, that doesn't mean to say that this will be banned by the Formula One regulators. We've seen this countless times in the past when it comes to significant technical changes, people getting around the regulations, finding what is called a loophole to actually circumnavigate that. Technically, it is legal, but it is not unlike Formula One to when they find out what is going on here to actually close it. Think of the flexi wings, for example. Of course, that is being banned, or at least tightened anyway, I should say, after the Spanish Grand Prix in a few races' time. So it's not unlike Formula One to actually tighten these loopholes to remove the ambiguity there, because when they, I don't know if you guys ever read the Formula One technical directive and all the documents and everything. It's not a very riveting read. It's hundreds upon hundreds of pages long, and there's so many things that these designers, go. I mean, think about Adrian Newey, for example, and his book, which is a fascinating read, How to Build a Car. 100% recommend that. It's one of the best Formula One books out there, full stop. But, he always talks about, the fact that he gets the regulations, he reads them, then he figures out how to get around them. Not break them, how to get around them. Find something that is technically legal, but of course is a loophole to exploit, and therefore you will actually be able to go faster. He did that for years and years and years, and that is why he's so successful. McLaren right now, they've had the flexi wing thing closed, or it will be closed very soon, so they've obviously put some more effort into actually improving other parts of the car, such as the tyres. If they keep the tyres cool over a long stint, they're unstoppable. And we saw that in Miami, and we might well see that at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix this weekend as well, especially since the tyres are very soft. They're doing the C6s for the first time this season, if I'm not mistaken. So those tyres will wear down very quickly for everybody except for probably McLaren. So I'm very interested to see what they've done. Like I said, we don't know exactly what they've done, but that is the leading theory right now. And it technically will probably be legal if that is what they've indeed done. Now, that doesn't mean they won't change the regulations to circumnavigate that, but honestly, when it comes to something like this, if they are going to change the regulations, what they would normally do is wait until the end of the season to do so, especially since we've got a big regulation change coming up anyway in 2026. Red Bull need to find proof of this. The stewards need to find proof of this because they haven't found anything yet. They're obviously doing something McLaren, and it looks as though it's going to be legal, but I'm fascinated to see what they've actually done because this is a massive performance advantage. We're talking, this is probably half a second, 3/4 of a second, maybe a full second around some of the longer circuits on the calendar. And, the McLaren mechanics, the engineers that have done this are absolute geniuses, and it's really paying dividends for them now. It really, really is. But, guys, let us know what you think about this in the comments below. What do you think McLaren have done when it comes to circumnavigating these regulations? Is it legal? Is it not? What will Formula One do? Will they wait till the end of the season to outlaw this? Will they change the regulations then? Or will they, in fact, of course, do it straight away? Will it be an instant ban? And will McLaren's advantage therefore be thrown out effectively? Not unlike what Red Bull's was around 12 months ago, of course, with their asymmetric brakes. But yeah, your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this. And yeah, let's hope for a very eventful Imola Grand Prix weekend this weekend. See you very soon.